order, and they will scrap only if I give them the order. And you feeling itchy, you got something to say? Just know we hop this way. Nobody else is suited for this other than us. I know it's crazy, but we work with it and don't give up. Welcome to the show. If you don't know the name, we call it Hop This Way.
Welcome back. All our favorite warriors out there, welcome to our Tong. This is the Hop This Way show. I'm your boy Zeus, joined as usual by the awesome Asian hip-hop hippie herself, Steph. How you doing, Stephanie Young Pratt? We have got Money, Matt, Chew America in the house. We've got the master. Say it again.
Chew America.
We got the master with us, Frank Zong in the house as well. And then, of course, the warrior Max Geek herself, Miss Rebecca Nishi. How is my Tong doing today?
Woohoo! Fine.
Here's Luke, a fan from our Ryan's All Things Geek page.
Our number one fan.
Coming at us from England. How's it going, Luke?
So who the fuck are these people? Why are they on right now?
Expression, Luke.
Don't worry, Luke. Most people will get confused on anything that I'm involved with. Just trust me on that one. So this is the Hop This Way show where, if this is your first time, like Luke, we come here and we review the HBO Max series Warrior. Comes to us from the brilliant minds of Bruce Lee, Shannon Lee, Jonathan Tropper, and Justin motherfucking Lin. What a show this is. It's one of the most intense shows that I've seen in recent years. And to me, when people talk about how great Breaking Bad is and things like that, this is what I expect. This to me is my Breaking Bad. Warrior is that top level show. It gives us the action that we need, but it also gives us some great stories and some really good lessons as well that are very prevalent right here today. That being said, guys, it's been a bit. Our last show, we had Jason Tobin on.
2 hours.
I still can't deal.
Hello, Sonia.
Hi, Sonia.
An amazing 2 hours with Jason.
My favorite part
Cool stories.
was Rebecca saying, "I love you."
Right.
That was my favorite.
They're sharing this.
I love you.
Before recording that, people don't know.
They don't know. No, they know. Everybody knows.
Steph just
Everybody
blew up
knows.
our spot.
Everybody knows that I love him. It's not a secret.
It was just the cutest thing ever. It really
Actually, while we're on here, what was I know everybody had, like, the fans or whatever had, like, their favorite part about that show. What was everybody else's, like, favorite part of that show that we had with him?
Good question.
I'm talking about the blades for me.
Yeah, when he was talking about the blade play.
Yeah, because he went to like the process of how they gradually started forming the characters too, the way they started forming the outfits and everything, and that's really cool to hear. That's really cool to hear after you've had the perspective of the outsider looking and trying to observe these characters and trying to compare to any historical backdrop that might be there, any inspirational figures that might have come from real life for them. So to hear
Good
from
point.
on the inside, gold.
Yeah, man. And as we saw here, this was the complete evolution of it as we take out Matt there. But yeah, that's his. Those are his knives there on that vest on the bottom, and I love it.
That whole suit.
Yeah,
when he was talking about, how he came up with the pompadour hairdo and everything, that was just perfect because we learn how Young Jun came about. But it's interesting that his hairdo was then mentioned in this episode too by one of the molasses dudes. He's like, I don't want to mess up that hairdo.
Sorry, I missed the show. When can I find it so I can catch up?
Funny
show?
you ask.
Our
It's
show?
on YouTube.
Our
It's
show?
on YouTube.
Yeah, it is on the tube. You can find it there. You can find our first season on Ryan's All Things Geek, but we will also upload it to the Hop This Way show YouTube channel that we have. So you can go back and watch all the first year chaos and fun that we brought to everybody.
On Watermax Geek channel on YouTube.
There you go. There's all our cheap plugs. Any other place we want to plug where it's out? So is it getting a third season? Well, it's funny you should ask if it's getting a third season. Let's just let them answer.
Our show Warrior has the best fans. You guys have shown us so much love and support. Now we have something to share with you.
Against all odds, we are back. Come and find me. Thanks to you, we're back. We're back.
We're back.
Look, we're being cool about it. So, we're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
Season 3.
Back.
We are back.
And we are back.
We're back.
We're back.
Warriors back on HBO Max. Let's go!
I will say
So
it is
there
funny
you go.
watching that now. And when Jason said like, "Oh, he was in quarantine for like umpteen some weeks," and then was just like, "Okay, I guess I'll finally like get ready and make myself fucking presentable so that way I can actually do this." That makes that video so much more hilarious at this point.
Man. And we go back to talking about you had asked what our favorite parts of the conversation was. And for me, that was a big part of it was him talking about how much he struggled, and as opposed to what we might think. He's been in 2 Fast and the Furious movies. He's in one of the leads in Fistful of Vengeance movie. So we're seeing him a lot.
Movies.
So yeah, and so we had assumed that things are going good, but it wasn't quite that way for him. So he was obviously even more excited than we were to find out that it was coming back. And just him sharing the emotions that went with it was, I love hearing stuff like that. I love when people can be real with us. And I think it really helps other aspiring actors. I think it helps other people that are aspiring to do anything in their life when times are rough. You just got to keep your head down, keep working, and, hope the good things are going to come to you.
Yeah, it teaches you a lot about his attitude, right? Like the fact that he's going to just keep chipping away at something, no matter whatever the outcome was. And also that thing at the end. Actually, I'm not going to mention it in case someone wanted to mention that as their favorite part of the conversation. So, yeah.
Are you sure?
The Argentina thing. So if someone else wants to mention it, I'll let them take it. But just the fact that he got dropped off there is like, all right.
That was crazy.
Yo, what up, Sean? Yep.
Yep. What's up, Sean? And Kung Fu Havoc says, I was scared that they were gone forever because I didn't know if the COVID destroyed the show because other shows got lost. So what did actually happen is they were on Cinemax originally, and Cinemax, the channel, just folded. So it wasn't that Warrior was canceled; it's they had nowhere to go. Luckily, HBO Max bought the rights to Cinemax, and Warrior came with that. And there was a huge petition, and I'm gonna take some credit for that with our Tong, especially led by our Warrior Max geek Rebecca, and of course Steph as well, just leading the charge there for us and helping us get the show back and getting a lot of petitions signed, getting those signatures on the petitions and getting it in the front of the faces of the people that actually worked at HBO. I mean, what a great, just a great thing that happened there. So pretty happy.
I even sent Shannon a direct message on Instagram, even though she'll probably never read it. I sent one back then. Do you have any idea how much this show means to us? Representation wise?
Right?
Yeah.
But that was
Amy,
actually a fun part of
Amy.
the Jason Tobin Amy
Speaking of
part
Tobin,
where she
speaking of
was talking about coming to, arriving and not being Chinese enough, not being American enough.
Right.
I mean, hello. It's interesting that we're not, we always want to have a positive and not talk about difficult things, but you guys know how I feel about these things. So the fact that he brought it up, I'm like, yeah, hello. Welcome to how the Chinese have been treated, the Asians have been treated, and it's just a fact. And that's why we need this show badly.
Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing interview, and it was great to have him on. If you missed it, go back. You can go onto our Hop This Way YouTube channel, or you go to our Facebook page and search through the videos, and you will see it again. Please, if you do go to YouTube, find, like, subscribe, comment, get those views up.
Because we can do this now.
Thank you, Matt, for creating our YouTube.
Warrior fans are the best.
Yeah.
You know what? We talked.
What's up, Amy?
I made a post the other day about how fans of any genre, whether it be pop culture, comic books, movies, sports, whatever, could be some of the worst people in the world, but they're also some of the best, But I haven't seen those worst fans yet in our Warrior community. So far, it's been a very tight-knit family. I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous when I say stuff like that because I don't want to get that.
My evil laugh. I'm so sorry.
What a great thing to be a part of, getting an amazing show, more seasons. Love everyone that was a part of that. And Sean, you were another one as well, because I recognize you from the Warrior group. And listen, we're not one of those people that like, hey, we got a Warrior page, they got a Warrior page. Listen, that Warrior group is great. That Warrior group was a big reason why the Warrior show itself got renewed, because that's where a lot of us met. That's how this show happened. I posted in that group and asked if anybody wanted to do a post episode show, and here we are.
Sean is a very OG fan. He has been in with Amy when Rich was in what's the name of the city? I'm sorry, I forgot.
Seattle.
He also has a podcast. He has interviewed some of the cast. I think I forgot the name. Sean, I'm sorry. It's beard something. Something about the beard. And yes, he's like us. He's very our tongue.
Native, black, and white.
I love this comment here. Well, it had great Native American representation too. I'm multicultural, that being part Native, black, and white. And Warrior made me feel like I had a lot of culture there. Man, you almost hit like everything there. So, yeah, that's it is. Now, that's the one thing that I have said, or maybe and it's not so much a drawback. The one thing that I would really like to see a little bit more on the show is, and I don't know if it would be accurate to the times though, but I would like to see a little more love for black people on the show, because so far we've been bad guys in this episode that we're going to talk about, and the slave pits, and we're the reason why everybody's angry at this point because the Civil War just ended, and the Irish are talking trash about us because they feel like they got let down somehow. I would just like to see, I would love to, especially with someone like Perry, and Perry posts so much biracial love, especially between the black community and the Asian community. I would love to see that in this show. I just don't know if that was a part of the thing back in the day.
Probably not.
There was that. This would have been the 1870s, so
right.
About it, like 15 years or so after slavery ended in the
It
U.S.
was actually prohibited to biracial marriages.
Well, and I'm not saying I want to see them mix. Well, actually, that would be all right too, right? And if so, hi, Olivia. No. Have you ever seen a black man blush before? Because he just did. We just didn't. No, I just want to see. I would like to see more of a positive black kind of representation there, because we've seen the positive Native American, we've seen the positive Latino aspect, we've seen a lot of obviously positive Asian aspects, and we've even seen positive Caucasian, right? We see it in Penny, we see it in I forget what her name is that ends up, spoilers, but with a toy.
I mean,
right. So I would just like to see, I don't know, just
Miranda
give me
Raison.
one black person on the show that's,
I mean,
a good person that I could cheer for.
Yeah,
that's all I want.
I mean, during this time period, Harriet Tubman is still alive. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be her specifically, but someone like of that mode, maybe,
Right.
But there were a lot of folks who helped, slaves escape during that time by the Underground Railroad. So, I'm sure there were a lot more folks who had that kind of, history with Harriet Tubman, just maybe not to that level, So.
Right. Some kind of sway. And it doesn't have to be an actual historical figure. It could be a fictional character like so many of them on the show.
Inspired by them. Yeah.
I know we have a lot of expectation about Father Jun's travel, but maybe he could meet some community out of Chinatown, like
imagine?
he could bring Queen Latifah.
Oh, hello!
That would be great.
I would be so happy.
How have the Chinese been treated? Bear in mind, I live in a small island by the UK and may be a little sheltered. Yeah, he's where is it? I can never.
Is he talking about in general or in the show?
In general.
Oh,
he's from the UK. He's from an island just off the UK.
Oh,
Luke,
okay.
have you watched? I'm sorry, Luke. Have you watched the show? Are you up
He's
to
watched
speed?
Warrior, yeah.
Okay, because this is it starts off as obviously Bruce Lee wrote this story, but they really did add the historical aspects, and all you have to do is listen to the politicians talking about, the Chinese Exclusionary Act. That just happened. They were just even mentioning it in this episode too. The Chinese Exclusionary Act is the only act that banned a specific race. And there are a lot of things that were affecting the Chinese that have never been brought to light, specifically Chinese, and then obviously that rolls over to a lot of the confusion between Asians, and a lot of the animosity. And right in this episode, you have the politicians standing up there saying, "Go back to China."
Yes.
Send them back. And that is exactly what happened. And, this is our history. So even though it is fictional stuff, this is very much the timeline of what has happened to Chinese in the U.S. And the part of the Exclusionary Act was, the inability to marry, which also leads to the topics of why women were smuggled in. And it was illegal for Chinese men to marry other races. Right. And that leads right up to the Loving case. So up until the Loving case, it still actually would have been illegal for Chinese, specifically Chinese.
Oh, you meant recent. Oh, sorry. He thought we meant recently.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Loving case, the Loving court case where the interracial marriage, that's actually what finally abolished that, so that there could be an interracial marriage with Chinese.
Nice. What else we got here? Getting a lot of comments here. Sorry, guys.
I'm digging. I'm digging
I love all people, Ryan. Anyone who doesn't is a what. I just don't like clanny. Okay, as he says it, I have to show you what he means by clanny. I do another show called Ryan's All Things Geek for those that don't know. And the background's gonna change here. I do apologize, but this is Clanny is our mascot on Ryan's All Things Geek. This is Clanny.
Oh my God. That again.
Clan shark. This was
God.
a baby shark. So they found a shark, and it had 3 stillborn baby sharks in it. This was one of the baby sharks, and I called him Clanny, I think for obvious reasons. And that just seems to be Luke Tuff's favorite thing. He likes to mention Clanny and Blumhouse. So we're going to put that one all on Luke.
You showed that to Rich Ching.
Yes, I did.
You remember that?
He's all mellow about it too. I remember he's like, "Is that this? But what if you just saw that?"
I'm digging the crowd participation this episode.
This is
sorry.
great. I'm loving this. And we will get to the review of this episode. And I'm sorry. It's just this. We love to be able to participate with the fans. You guys are great. Since I only got to watch
the real start,
the first season, did they do the Chinese and the gold mines where some hurt and robbed of their gold? I don't think they should. They don't show any of that in season 2, like anything to do with the gold mines.
They don't really get that. I mean, it's in the city the whole time, so they probably just didn't. Not the right location, you know.
The only thing we really get is like the railroad, and that's when we get the backstory of like the Yellow Demon shit. There's only like very like different.
Yeah, that restaurant owner, the bar owner, mentioned working the gold mines, but
episodes.
You're good.
No worries.
I'm in a state where the Loving case is from. Oh, wow. There you go.
Thank you for info.
And Luke says, I'm with you. I thought they were talking about COVID. So sorry. I understand the show and the history. Yeah. This show is, like I said, and we talked about it at the top of the show. This is one of those shows that it just seems to connect with everyone who watches it. I have people from all walks of life and all different races and nationalities that absolutely love this show. And I'm sure you guys are getting sick of hearing it, but I put this all on the showrunners. Like, this is, yes, it's Bruce Lee's idea and Shannon bringing it to life, but I mean, JT just knows how to weave such a tale. So anyways, let us move on. Let's get into season 2, episode 2. Seems like we didn't get to do too much of it last week because we had the great Jason Tobin on with us. Becca, why don't you start us off? How does this episode start off? What did you think of this episode?
Well, I think Young Jun starts to he doesn't know Ah Sam's intention. Like, you're pushing me to do this thing with Happy Jack, you know, trying to get another supplier for molasses, and he doesn't understand yet. But in the end of the season, of course, he will understand why Sam is doing that. But it starts with that, with Young Jun saying, "Why are you pushing this so hard? Why do you want to do this?" And Ah Sam says, "I thought you wanted that," and he replies, "Yeah, but it seems like you want harder. You want more than me, you know."
Right. Let's take a quick look. We actually have that clip right here.
Father Jun won't start treating you like an equal till you make him see you as one.
Why are you pushing this so hard all of a sudden?
I thought this is what he wanted.
Yeah, maybe. But it's starting to feel like you wanted more. I'm just saying, there's a fucking agenda here. I want to know about it.
Right. Like you said, it's like, so we're starting to see in this episode that there are some cracks starting to form in the trust that Baby June or Young Jun has with what is arguably his brother, Ah Sahm, in the show. Matt, watching that scene, what are you thinking? Like, what are you going through at this point? When you like, what do you start to think when you're like, oh, okay, so here it's coming? Or did you even notice those kind of, you know,
all those little nuances of the seeds of
doubt?
Yeah. I mean, let's see. When I first watched it, I was like, damn, they're gonna really split this shit up already. Like, we literally just got into the second episode and we're already trying to split these guys up.
Right.
But it was a good, I mean, we've already watched all the way up to season 2, so no spoilers or anything, but this is a nice introduction to that again, trying to rephrase it without giving away too much shit. This is a nice intro to what some people might think will happen later down the road and may or may not happen. So keep watching, you warrior peoples, you.
Let's be honest. Most of the people that are watching this are caught up.
I know, but it's just like it's so hard because it's like we're doing these episode recaps, and it's just like, you know, I'm trying to keep within the episode, but at the same time, just like, yo,
you just
when
wait.
This shit happens here, and in episode this, and it's just like I'm trying to keep with the no spoilers to those who are actually using our show and our platform to keep up with everything.
Yeah,
which if you are awesome, but please watch the motherfucking show.
But let us also preface it this way. Once season 3 comes out and we're recapping the shows right after they air, we're only going to spoil that episode. Like, we're going to immediately talk, because that's what a recap show is. But we won't be able to spoil the rest of the season for you because we won't know. So it won't have this same kind of feel. The show's been off the air for almost a year now. 2 years. Well, I know it's been 2 years since they filmed.
Year and a half,
or even longer than 2 years since they filmed season 2. So
yeah, because last episode I think that air was like winter 2020, so it's been about a year and a half now.
Right, and then HBO thankfully picked them up and aired it all on HBO Max, which I still think is so great that they're on HBO Max. I think this gives a lot of these actors a way into the DC extended universe.
We're not doing this again,
Matt.
We're not doing this again.
Tell me how she is not. How is she not Shiva?
Oh my
How is she not
God!
Lady Shiva, the woman that trained Batman and most of Bat Family, who's arguably one of the strongest, most deadliest fighters in all of DC Comics, followed by only maybe. Do you know who Cassandra Cain is?
Yes.
Orphan. I'm just saying.
I know.
I'm just saying. Dianne would be perfect.
Ooh.
Really?
Someone does need also in season 3, someone does need to do a Bruce Lee double screen stick homage like in Enter the Dragon. Someone needs to do that.
I wonder who.
I don't know who they would get to do that.
I wonder who. I don't know. I don't know. But no, we're going to keep these DC talks to a minimum because there's only one fucking character that I have already put my foot in that ass for. And you are already... You.
I gave it away.
Dare
Jason
you.
Tobin is Nightwing.
Look.
Listen, you're going to lose Red Hood next.
Look.
You're going to be down to Damian Wayne pretty soon.
I love Tobin. Tobin knows I love him.
Don't laugh, you guys. I'm swapping phones again. My phones keep overheating. Jungle issues.
It's rough living in Hawaii.
I'm done with your
I'm not there permanently. I'll be back in the cold next week.
Good.
But my phones are yelling at me like,
good.
Hoping for a blizzard in Boston.
Again, I love Tobin. I understand, but that's my fucking character, and I will go toe to toe with this man. I don't care if I get my ass handed to me. I will fight for that fucking role. I got shit here in the back. I got my stuff.
Dude.
I'm ready to go.
Dude, you've just went from Nightwing to Red Hood to Damian. Now you're fucking Kite Man.
Hell yeah! I don't give a shit. You think I care? I don't care. I don't care.
Everybody's tuning in. They're like, how are they talking about DC Comics on a Warrior show?
It's a very weird.
You know what is ironic?
What's that?
That Warrior is an HBO now. HBO is on Warner Brothers Group.
Yes.
The same studio that turned down Warrior when Bruce Lee was alive.
Right.
Was alive. Okay. So Regency is a plate that you eat cold.
Wow. Oh, wow. All right.
Anyway.
So And now we're gonna get a little bit back into this episode.
I love you, Jason. I'm still that role's mine.
Jason,
I don't care.
Jason.
It's all this. It's all this for Jason Tobin. So.
It's all this until it's Nightwing mode. Then it's fucking bout it mode.
So tell the truth, that's the real reason why you're training with Frank.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Training what?
What are you talking about?
What?
I don't know what's happening.
Who? Liars. Anyways, so Frank, talk to me about this episode about where the mayor's head's at and Buckley as well, because this was a big episode for them and the visiting governor.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I almost forgot about that scene. Yeah, that's yeah, I think this was where Buckley starts to kind of rear his head. Like you figured that he was the one really pulling the strings all the time because we're over a season in, the mayor's shown to be a bumbling idiot, right? And also,
right.
Like Christian McKay somehow makes that grand. That shows how I think that to me that shows how good of an actor he is.
For sure.
Yeah, but Buckley gets pretty steely in this episode, like smirking the whole time too when he's talking to the mayor. When the mayor complains about the senator or the governor, I can't remember.
I think he's the governor. Yeah, I'm not too positive either.
Yeah, the other politician talking trash and making in his eyes, making a fool out of him. And Buckley starts to show that he's got his own direct agenda, or show more that he's got a direct agenda.
Yeah, and I think it's because he does that big speech. The senator does that big speech rallying all, like just creating outcry and basically mimicking Trump. Steph was even mentioning that earlier.
Sound just like him.
Yep, saying I'll send him back to China and things like that. And then you hear the mayor, like he just incited this crowd, and he says to Buckley, like, "You work for me," and he's like, "No, I work for the people," or something like that. Buckley replies. So we learn at that point that he's actually more about himself, I think, than anyone else. Even though I think he even fools himself into thinking he's about the people above all else. Like I think he's even conned himself into believing that.
Really?
But what else happened in this episode? Mai Ling wants ammunition on Buckley.
Yeah.
Oh, that was this one. Oh, yeah.
She's like,
detective episode, right? So
Mai Ling is a great character. I mean, see, this is what Matt was talking about earlier about how it's hard not to spoil things to come.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard to do these episodes.
Oh, yeah, that also didn't happen till later. I'm thinking of all these interactions that Mai Ling's had, and I'm like, oh crap, no, this episode 4. Oh crap, no.
Right. It's the same thing I'm feeling right now. And I'm like, oh, wait, no. And we just watched it again, too, just so we know what we're talking about. But even when you do that, you're like, oh, yeah, well, how do I talk about that without giving away this? But
this episode, she does show a little bit of her vulnerability to Taslim.
Yeah.
Because, she's trying in this episode, like, she's trying to be like that strong fucking leader and trying to be like, hey, like I'm running shit here. But
she also did this. Yep. She also did this, though.
Oh, yeah.
Go talk to the other Tong and take Zing with you.
And then you see how he looks at her when she was at the table doing some business dealings, watching her from the corner of his eye.
And it's almost parallel to we start seeing Baby June start to question Ah Sam's loyalties or where his head's at. And now we're seeing the same here with him and Mai Ling. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the writing's so good on the show. And I know that's not all on Tropper. That's on the writers that are underneath him there, too. I mean, everybody on the show. Oh, it's so good. So good. But so, Steph. Let's go on to Steph. Moving on from here. What out of these three called the Hustlers, who had the biggest moment for you in this episode? Out of these four, sorry.
Ooh.
Out of the Hustlers? See, well, okay, so Chow. that was a significant moment. I mean, that's a cultural moment where there's his biracial child. And if he, the whole conversation of, her not acknowledging that that's daddy, because what would happen to her if she had a Chinese father, right? So that's a significant portion, of that episode for me. Seeing, I forget what's her name again, the rich lady, go to see Atoy's place, and that's really where you see a different level of activism. And she's involved, and her Chinese is improving, and they have that whole exchange, which is respectful, so that was significant. But I mean, the go-between to connect for Molasses, that was still big. I mean, every single one of them has something. You're seeing the mechanics of what really goes on behind the scenes. You know what I mean? So you're connecting all the dots. You've got the racial, you've got the illegal businesses, you've got drug trade and everything. All of those are connected in one way or another. Yeah. So then again, Atoy is going to be talking to Chow, and again, the businesses connect. It's how Chinatown is run, how it's keeping afloat. So I think they're all significant. But I would just have to say one little tidbit. Like one of my favorite points was hearing Baby Jun, because you say Baby Jun say motherfucker in Cantonese.
Yeah, at the Molasses deal.
Come on.
And then he goes absolutely batshit crazy after that. I should have had that clip. You know what? Starting next week, we're going to be doing a couple new segments. One of them is called the Kill of the Week, where we choose our kills of the week. I don't know if we'll each have our own or if we'll just do one that we all choose as a group. But we will show them to you, because that's what we want to do for you, the fans. And it's just not the same when we just describe it. It doesn't have the same impact. You had to be there to believe it.
Close your eyes. Use your imagination as I descriptively detail these scenes, and let's see if they match up exactly to my description. And if not, tough shit.
I think the only person in the world that could do that and pull it off, narrating and us being able to visualize it, would be this guy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hello.
And he'd have to be playing the flute while he does it.
Oh.
What?
Yes.
What were you going to say?
Oh. Was that you playing the flute?
Just thinking of, Jason Tobin and Perry Young playing the flute together.
Just hanging out.
Right.
Yeah.
Just
Rebecca,
hanging
you've got
out.
a bit of a smile every time we mention Perry Young. Why is that? Why is that?
Yeah, what happened?
What
happened?
What happened with you and Perry?
What happened?
Form of promotion.
Because she just did her a piece of artwork for him.
Oh, look at that. Hey!
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
So Perry posted this on his page, personally thanking and tagging you and it for that beautiful artwork. Rebecca, tell us how long you worked on that. How much? Like, I mean, you have got quite the eye, and I mean that's detail on a whole new level.
I
love the shadowing.
In my post, I was honest that I made that in an app just to make it easier for me to draw the lines, and I posted my drawing. It isn't that great. Like,
no, it was very nice.
This learn how to draw, so. But he liked that cartooning app thing.
It looks really cool, though. And that's awesome that he interacts. And these actors on the show have been really kind to us and almost every fan that we've seen, interact with them. We're constantly seeing them interact with the fans. So another great thing about this show. Now, folks, we're moving into season 3. What did we forget at the end? How does this episode end up? Off the top of anybody's head, anybody remember?
They have Zing and Taslim had that moment after they had to vanquish that smaller tong.
The storage, right?
All right, and storage too. Well, remember the end of this episode, wasn't it the end of this episode when Tobin and Ah Sahm go back to get the molasses, and they're like, no, you can have the molasses, but you can't store it here like we originally planned on.
Yes.
And then Baby June goes crazy and starts murking everybody. And then they work it out at the very end. It's just the heat is on us right now. We just can't afford the chances.
And then Ah Sahm go back to the factory for Penny and says, okay, I can make you a security.
Yep.
Yeah, which is
what. Speaking of Penny, one thing that I actually wanted to bring up. Sorry, that's loud. Did anybody notice that there have been I think maybe only 2 times that she's mentioned her sisters?
No, I've never actually picked up on that.
So one, she mentioned to Sophie, I think at the table or something, that that's why I sent our sister off to private school, right? And then it was she mentioned something again, my sisters. So I wonder if their other sister's going to pop up, in the next season. She's mentioned it twice. We have another sister. So I just noticed.
Interesting, especially because he went to the madhouse.
Yeah.
Sophie might bring them back.
Right. Yeah. That was
and we had more of that flirtation with Sophie and Leary in this one, all mushy, and they're thinking about each other, and she's flirting hard. She's flirting.
Yeah.
She wants to get sticky.
Yeah,
get that sticky.
And he's like,
you can tell she's a troublemaker.
I gotta thank Tobin for that story. I'm never not gonna do this on any episode.
Soundbite from that.
Do it, Matt.
Get that soundbite.
Let's get some sticky.
Awesome.
God, what a great guest! I can't say this enough.
And I forgot to take it down.
I was in the fourth, like, did that happen? I was Cloud 9. Still geeking.
I meant to get it, and I totally forgot to transfer it over here, and I don't have it offhand. But next time we're back is this Sunday, folks.
Yeah.
We'll be here Sunday afternoon. Noon.
12
noon
Standard
Eastern time.
We have
Prepare your
Langley
questions.
Kirkwood
What?
on a special guest episode. It's going to be fantastic. And for those who don't know on a first and last name government basis, that is AKA Walter Buckley himself, the puppeteer, the madman.
The true villain. The true villain of the show.
A great special episode.
Yeah.
So this Sunday coming up, 12
Get your questions ready.
Eastern Standard Time. We are going live, and it's going to be a fun episode.
Now, folks, you can ask your questions during the show, and if we get a chance to, we will pop them up for him during the show. But best bet, post those questions on the page. We'll make a post about it
tomorrow.
You can post the questions. We will take those questions and pop them up during the show for him.
Yes.
And earlier, I forgot our new viewer there, Kung Fu Havoc. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I know you kept saying your replies were coming in late. They're not. It's just we just can't post them right away all the time. We're going through stuff, and there's a whole bunch of them. So
yeah, we're on the
You're
East
doing
Coast
great,
too,
brother.
a couple of us, so it's fine. We're here. We understand.
we definitely do. And don't forget katana. I don't know what that was from. That was a little bit earlier.
It's a Japanese sword.
Well, I know what a katana is. I wasn't sure the context of the comment. I don't know what he was referring it to.
Character in season 3.
Maybe.
Why not? Why not?
The kill of the week, maybe? Yeah.
Oh, the
Every
kill
time
of
I
the
hear
week.
Mortal Kombat, I was just like, Mortal Kombat! Like, that's all I thought when I read katana.
Right? I hear katana and I start thinking like the old ninja movies, like American Ninja and Return of the Ninja, and a bunch
Leonardo.
of really bad 80s movies.
Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
Oh, they were so bad.
We have a swordsman killing everyone in Chinatown.
I know that. You know what? Actually, that's what I was looking for right now is for the Trinity, because I have the photo somewhere here of them, and that's what I was going to put for the katana, but I don't know where I put it. We may have lost it.
See, the katana, we got a toy with the guandao.
There you go.
Oh,
But what's Jennifer holding though?
Broadsword.
Same type.
Yep, broadsword.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think in this episode, actually, Chow reveals to Altoy that he knows that she is the one, and he kept her secret, so she has to low down.
Is that this episode? Or is it next episode?
Activities. I think it was episode 1.
Oh, right. That's right. It was episode 1. But sweet. So that's what's happening next time. So we will be here. It's not going to be a recap episode. It is going to be an interview episode with Buckley himself. This is going to be a lot of fun. So like I said, get your questions in early and ahead of time to make sure that it gets asked. And thank you to all of the new viewers that joined in today. A lot of you from all over the world, much like our cast here. And I hope everyone had a great time. Guys, what would you like to go out on? Some words of wisdom. We'll start with who am I going to choose first? The person that's always got something to say first.
Me? I mean, I'm always off the cuff. I'm like, what am I supposed to say?
That was false.
No, it is. I'm just a dork and I get emotionally excited. So, I think, listen, we see a lot coming up and it's exciting. I'm just going to keep enjoying replaying that part where Young Jun says motherfucker in Cantonese. That's it.
Perfect. All right. Next up on Russian Roulette. Boom, Frank.
I mean, by episode 2, episode 1 kind of resets a little bit. Episode 2 is like you start to see everything get set to ramp, and most folks watching probably have seen the entire second season already, so you know the crescendo that it takes. For those who haven't, it takes a big fucking crescendo.
Hell yes, it does. Man, I so want to spoil shit for people, but I won't. I will let Mr. Chumerica go up with what's coming. What were your thoughts on this episode? If you could wrap it up in a bow. Well said.
Let's get some stickers. I mean, that doesn't really recap anything. That's just fuck my mic. It's just so much fun. It's just so much fun to yell now at this point, because if it wasn't for that little story time, I'm just gonna forever do that. And the Yellow Demon.
Those are going to be like our new sign-offs.
That's all I have.
And then we lost Steph. Steph was like, I don't need to hear what Rebecca has to say.
You don't?
No,
nope. She just X'd out twice. There you go.
There you are.
My phone saying, you're too hot. The phone is too hot.
Ooh.
Hawaii. What'd you think of this episode, Beck?
So, thinking of our next guest, I think Buckley has his own agenda. He's building his way to power. So let's keep this in mind. Prepare your questions for the next episode on Sunday for Mr. Buckley.
Yeah, it's gonna be so much fun. I am really, really looking forward to this, and especially the fact that you're gonna notice the weird time at noon. That's because he is 7 hours ahead of us, so he'll be doing that at 7 o'clock where he's at. Where is he? Hong Kong? No,
Cape Town.
He's in Cape Town.
Oh, he's in Cape Town. Oh, all right. Well, there you go. South Africa.
Fun thing for the viewers. We pulled some magician-like shit to get this interview because, again, us here, the 5 of us, are all scattered everywhere across the globe.
4 different time zones.
Yeah, we're all in our different little time zones. So for some of these guests that we get, we're so fortunate for, again, Tobin was again all in Hong Kong time, so we had to flip everything for 12 hours. So like thanks to him for being that accommodating. Here where we have Langley, where we're doing like a 6-hour ahead difference, it's a true test to the cast here who are willing to like speak with us, because we're all working together with our vastly different schedules to make this shit work, and it's fantastic.
And let me also put out there, folks, as Steph joins us again.
Sorry about the phone roulette.
All good. We're gonna go after this anyways. But I do want to just say, like, we were really lucky in the first season. We had Rich Ting on multiple times.
Hi, Rich. I know you're watching.
Hey, Rich, you're coming back on, brother. Don't you worry.
You're back for number 3.
Bowler will definitely be back here on this show for sure.
Back.
Whether he'll be back on season 3 or not of Warrior, we'll find out. But
it's our mission to get Perry on here. Young Jun. Father Jun.
Let's just say there's stuff in the works for multiple actors and people from the show to come on and visit with us. So we're going to put it that way, that Langley is not or Buckley is not the last, or Langley, whichever you want to go with. Langwood? I'm so horrible.
What?
Kirk?
What?
I'm having such a meltdown right
Langley now. Kirkwood.
That's what I said, right?
Yeah.
Is that not what I just said?
Langwood.
You were saying something else.
Langwood.
Yeah.
Captain Kirk.
You combined it. You were like Langwood.
Yeah, I'm having issues today. This is my day off. No, but yeah, he's not going to be the last we have on here. We have more that are lined up. We're working on schedules, and yeah, keep your eyes tuned. Keep your eyes tuned, because the Warrior crew is watching the Hop This Way show, and we're watching them.
Sticky!
Getting sticky with it. Getting sticky.
I think that's the best way for us all to go out. Is that's got to be our new sign up.
Are we all gonna yell it? We all gotta yell it and like pan over to a side, and then we're gonna cut the shit.
Oh, wait,
ready?
Ready?
Go. Let's get some sticky.
The Yellow Demon. Everybody have a great evening, and thanks for joining the Hop This Way show. Peace.